Yeah, so as a child, going through it, I mean, children are really resilient, and I was quite I was quite a weird kid, funnily enough. I was keenly aware of particular things and completely oblivious to many other things. So I could sort of roll through a week without having really noticed what was going on. But then if you asked me about anything I'd learnt that week, it was sort of like right there. It seemed like I hadn't been paying attention, but I was taking everything in. So I think really, essentially, I was very resilient as a child, and things didn't really phase me as they might have. So I kind of wore it as a badge of honor that going through all these surgeries, and I was at a boys' school. I've got 2 older brothers, so it was all quite boisterous anyway.
Yeah.
So that my personality lent itself quite well, I think, to coping fairly well. Maybe not in the healthiest way, not in a way that helps you kind of actually get to grips with it, but more sort of rub some dirt on it kind of feeling. So yeah, I was quite resilient through it, and my surgeon was great as well. So my surgeon was Ian Bottrell, who I've now had the opportunity to meet in a professional context again. So that's quite a nice. It all sort of comes full circle.
Yeah.
But he was a brilliant communicator with me as a child. So he was always willing to discuss it with me as well as with my parents. I was in the room for every single conversation, and my preference in treatment was always accepted, to the point where sort of removing the packs from surgery, or removing wax even. I had a preference for not having suction because I didn't like the sound. And so he would, rather than spend 5 minutes sucking it out, he would spend 20 minutes picking it out.
Yeah.
Because of my preference, and he always asked me and did what I preferred, obviously within reason. So I always felt pretty involved and considered throughout the whole process, which is really important, I think, especially in pediatrics, because there's the risk of thinking that you only sort of talk to the parent and take the parent's opinion, but actually if you can involve the child as much as possible, obviously within reason, within their capacity, then that's a really good thing. I have spoken to my parents about the whole process since then, because when I started my career in audiology, I requested all my notes and everything from GPs and what have you, just to get a more of a professional understanding of what happened. And in that, then I was speaking to my parents, and it was awful for them. Absolutely horrible, as you can imagine, to have a child with going through various surgeries, first of all. So just those moments, those hours, 5 hours, whatever it is, in surgery are, I can only imagine, horrible. And they said, yeah, really deeply unpleasant. But then, of course, there's the more psychological factors of what does this mean for my child now growing up? What's it going to be like at school, sport, learning, friendships, all these kind of things. There's a lot of fear there for parents, and that's something that speaking to them has helped me really understand, that really the functional aspects of we're going to do this and then do that with the child are not the worst bits.
Yeah,
it's the psychological aspects. And I think actually with the normal process for counselling in the professional environment is to do all the functional stuff with the parent and the psychological stuff with the patient. And actually it's kind of the other way around, is more helpful. Get engagement from the child with the functional stuff. I'm going to do this to you, how do you feel about that? And with the parent, it's by doing that, it means this. Now, how do you feel about that? Because that's what I've experienced, and I've tried to take that forward into into my professional career.